this video, you'll need both hands, but we still won't use our bow yet. The instrument should have 4 tapes on the fingerboard, one for each finger of your left hand. If it doesn't have any tapes, don't worry, I'll put them on soon, just pretend it has tapes for now. If it has one of my extra black tapes, just ignore it for now, we won't use that note yet. If it has some tapes, but not all 4, then the top tape is probably for your first finger. So if you have 3 tapes, you'll probably have these 3, and you'll be missing your pinky. If you only have 2 tapes, it might be the top 2, or it might actually be the first and the third. You'll have to ask me in class. Start out by holding your left arm up. Turn your palm towards your face. Do you see how your hand comes pretty much straight out from your arm? We want the back of your arm to remain straight. If we bend it too far either way while playing, the tendons and ligaments that go through your wrist will grate against each other, and eventually you'll get carpal tunnel syndrome and need surgery. If you've learned how to type on a keyboard or play piano, you'll notice that the proper technique for both of those has that same healthy wrist line. Okay, so go ahead and lift your left hand towards the neck of the instrument. Your fingers should be facing up, and you should be able to wave to yourself. Put your thumb on the side of the neck. Make sure that your wrist is still coming straight out of your arm and that your muscles are relaxed. This is kind of a weird position that we don't use much in daily life, so staying as relaxed as possible is super important. On violin, the E string is our thinnest string. Touch the E string with your fingers and then lift them up. They don't have to make a sound yet. Next, move them over one string to the A string and touch that string. Lift them up and move over another string to the D string. Then go one more to the G string, your thickest string. Notice that when I change strings, in order for my fingers to reach, my elbow moves in and out. Practice this motion by jumping from the E string to the G string. Notice that my thumb is also moving up and down a little bit as I change strings. Now take your first finger and put it on the E string. Keep your wrist straight and your thumb relaxed, and slide your arm up or down until your finger is on the furthest tape. This is the first finger tape. If I was the one who put on your finger tapes, I'd tune them so that the middle of your finger will look like it's exactly on the middle of the tape, so long as the instrument's on your shoulder. Now keep your first finger down and add your second finger onto the second tape. Make sure it's also right on the middle of its tape. Do the same with your third finger, and then your fourth finger. You'll notice that the tapes aren't all equally spaced. Your second and third finger are real close together, maybe even touching, but there's a space between your first 2 fingers and your last 2 fingers. This is because there's an extra note that we don't need yet in the spaces, but there is no other note between the second and third finger tapes, unless you're playing music from somewhere like India where they have different notes than we do. Okay. So your hand position will look like this. Can you get your fingers to look like this? Later on, as we learn more notes, we'll use more finger positions. Can you change which 2 fingers are touching? Can you do the Vulcan live long and prosper sign? Can you do all of this while keeping your finger muscles relaxed? Okay, now go back to our finger position. If you have trouble with any of these, practice them until they become easy. This can be fun when you're bored but can't play your instrument, like when you're on the school bus or when your parents are driving you around. Okay, let's go back to the instrument. Start out this time on your G string. Remember to move your elbow in towards the center of your body so your fingers can reach. If your shoulder pad fits right and you're holding your instrument high enough, your elbow won't touch your stomach. Put your first finger down on the G string, then your second, third, and fourth. Make sure you land right on the tapes. Lift them up and go to the D string. Put down your first, second, third, and fourth. If you miss the tape, go ahead and slide your finger back onto it. Lift your fingers up and go to the A string. Put them down again, still one at a time. Now do the same thing with the E string. This is basically the left-hand part of the white finger pattern, which is what you need to pass to earn your white belt. I'll show you how it goes. This uses both hands at the same time. Your left fingers will tell the instrument what note to play, while your right finger will play that note using pizzicato. Start by pitching open G. Open means you have no fingers down on your left hand. Then put one finger down and play it. Notice that a different pitch comes out. Put your next finger down and play it, and so on. When you run out of fingers, go to the next string. Make sure to start with the open string, and that both of your hands have moved to the string together. When you finish the last string, we go backwards and lift fingers off, one at a time. Make sure you play the open string too, because that's its own important pitch. After the open string, go to the next string again, but this time you start with all your fingers down, so that you can take them off, one at a time. Let me show you again, a little faster. The speed you go is up to you. You can pass white belt whether you go fast or slow. In order to earn your white belt, I have to see three things. First, how is your posture? If you're holding the instrument wrong, or if you're standing wrong, you won't pass. Second, how does your right hand look? Are your thumb and your finger in the right part of the fingerboard so that you can make the fullest sound? Third, how does your left hand look? Is your wrist coming straight out of your arm? Are your fingers landing right on the tapes? Make sure they're in tune on the tapes before you play each note. You can pause in between notes for as long as you need in order to get the next one in tune. Okay, chances are when you try this the first time, you won't get a full sound from your instrument. Instead, you'll get a thunk. This happens if your fingers don't push down hard enough. You have to push the string down hard enough that it doesn't vibrate at all past the finger. This is because scientifically, smaller things make higher sounds while bigger things make lower sounds. And by cutting off the string at that point, we're essentially making it smaller. If you don't press the string down hard enough, the part past your finger will still be trying to make a sound. But if you do press hard enough, you'll effectively make the string smaller than it really is. Right now, you probably have really small muscles in your hand, and so you have to push down really hard. But as you play a little bit and build your muscles, you won't have to press as hard, and this is good. Remember that we want to be as relaxed as possible while playing. After you practice your white finger pattern for a while, you may notice your fingertips start to hurt, and you might see even lines from the strings. As your skin gets used to it, it'll toughen up. We call it callousing. Your skin will literally get thicker and harder, though it's such a small amount you won't be able to see the difference. It takes a week or two of practicing before the calluses form, so in the meantime, if your fingers hurt, you can gently massage them like this. If they hurt too badly, remember that pain is your body's way of warning you about something. Only you can decide when to keep practicing and when you should take a break. Okay, one more thing. Sometimes a kid will find that their finger can't reach the tapes. The most common finger to not reach is the pinky. Sometimes if your pinky can't reach, it means that your wrist has collapsed against the neck of the instrument. But if your wrist is straight and you still can't reach, it means your instrument is too big. If this is the case, take your instrument back to the store and ask for a smaller one. A lot of times, people at the music store will estimate what size instrument you need based off how tall you are or how long your arm is, but your finger spacing is actually the most important thing, because that's what determines if you can play the notes in tune or not. Alright, I hope you enjoy practicing the white finger pattern. Sometime soon in class, kids will be able to test for belts. But if you get to the point that you feel great with the white finger pattern, but haven't had a chance to test, you can always look ahead at the second-degree white belt using the bow. Sometimes kids will work a couple belts ahead of the class, and then when they get a chance to test, they can test for all of them in a row.